Comes in like a little bit of like Colgate toothpaste, not Crest.
Sweet Baby Ray's.
Dentine ice, but in a good way.
Also, all my tasting notes are commercials from the 90s.
We're not sponsored by any of these brands.
Welcome to the Sons of Vancouver Whiskey channel. I'm James.
And I'm Jenna.
And today we are reviewing Westland Single Malt. Westland is the biggest single malt distillery in North America, and they're located in Seattle, Washington.
The first is their classic single malt. I believe this is just like their straight up sort of mainstay SKU, the first one in their lineup. Next up we have from their, I'm gonna botch this, Outpost range. That's what it is. We've got the Garryana oak. This is the 6th edition, so a little bit of a blast from the past. That one is, I believe, aged fully in Quercus Garryana, if not, then finished at least in Quercus Garryana, which is a tree that is native to the Pacific Northwest. So really interesting expression. Then we have their wine cask finish. This is, I believe, wine casks from the Pacific Northwest.
Cab Sav, Syrah, and Washington Red.
And then a beer cask finish. James's favorite kind of whiskey. I think there's a bunch of beers. Saison, Stout,
Scotch Ale,
and a Doppelbock cask.
Oh, good. I love a Doppelbock cask.
I love Westland. Westland is, they've really pioneered the category of single malt in America, and or American single malt, that is. And they really took their own approach to it. They didn't just sort of make single malt and try to be as much like Scotland as they could. They really forged their own identity in single malt, which is cool. They have a really beautiful flavor to all of their whiskey, which is reminiscent of a lot of the things from Scotland, but with its own sort of Pacific Northwest style, which is very cool.
Very original.
Also, beautiful branding on all their products as well. Start with the base expression, which I assume is probably similar base throughout all of these. Or we can assume is. They have a really nice minty fresh note to their single malt. Comes in a little bit of Colgate toothpaste, not Crest, in a good way. Very spearminty.
A bit of vegetal in there.
Yeah, little vegetal, little green, a little bit of spice there, cinnamon, dentine ice.
Grain character.
We're not sponsored by any of these brands, but if you wanna.
Also, all my tasting notes are commercials from the 90s.
Introducing Colgate Tartar Control Plus Whitening.
But it's nice and it's light. I think this is at 46%, which is a great percentage. I'm glad that they didn't drop it to, I think that's just a testament to their blending abilities. I think if you had gone any lower with this, it might have washed it out a little bit. You might have lost the nice mouthfeel that there is there, but by going to 46%, it's a little bump higher than the traditional 40-42. You keep that sort of oiliness that's there in the background.
Yeah, there's lots of specialty malts in this as well. You can get a lot of specialty roasts, so chocolate malt or something like that.
Yeah, it's really nice, very green, and it's a really good, I think, representation of I believe they use local grains.
They've been working with Skagit Valley malting for a long time, and they're resurrecting I went there once and they had 20,000 different varieties of heritage barley they were working with.
Onto the Garryana oak. This one's going to be a lot different, just in that it's aged in the Garryana oak to some level. I can't remember if it's fully aged.
I believe it's fully aged.
I thought so too.
Yeah,
it's really dark, so I would guess that it is.
There's that old whiskey adage that 70% of whiskey's flavor comes from the barrel.
This is a really good, I think, really good proof of that.
Yeah.
There's a huge sort of molasses, sugary nose as soon as you.
What I remember from the 8th release was that sugary note was Memphis barbecue. It was it had a really barbecue-y sort of woody note.
There's so much more sugar on this than the previous. You can get the undertones of the green and the spirit itself, but the barrel's lending so much here. A big sort of brown sugar, almost like barbecue sauce.
Sweet Baby Ray's.
Third sponsor.
Our third sponsor for the episode. Now, It's a good time to take a break to speak about our sponsor.
These juicy bone xylophones are
Sweet Baby Ray.
Yeah, lots of barrel on the palate too. Lots of tannins.
It starts really bitter, but it doesn't exactly finish as bitter.
Yeah. I don't know if I would say, yeah, it's sort of that like black tea leaf kind of, a bit of bitterness there.
Drying in your mouth.
Yes. But in a good way. Yeah, there's definitely a barbecue aspect. You get a bit of like, maybe like hickory or something. Mesquite. Just like in the background. It's not like, it's not huge.
Chicory. Like that New Orleans coffee.
All right, moving on to the wine cask finish.
Whoa. Getting lots of chocolate out of that.
I wonder if they were able to like get these from like a neighboring winery or something like that. Although it doesn't
brings
say...
a forward to the Pacific Northwest's rich winemaking history. So I would assume that they're there's a lot of Pacific Northwest wine, so surely they're from there.
Yeah. The benefit that does give you is that you can go visit the wine casks before you actually take them. I find that like wine cask finished whiskey is so dependent on the cask that it's going into. Every wine cask or sherry cask or port cask is not created equally. And so being able to like really hand pick the barrels that you're working with, or like at least hand pick the winery that you're working with, would be a big benefit, to be able to know that they have quality wines, that they can treat the barrel properly, make sure that it gets to you quickly after it's been emptied, things like that.
There's a big thing with wine casks where a lot of the time, to preserve the cask after winemaking, they'll sulfur it. And so for a distillery to get wine casks, you have to have a really strong relationship with the winemaker to be certain that you're not going to get one of those sulfured casks.
I feel like this has such a similar nose to the previous, in a way of like the raisiny, pruny, sort of plummy nose on there, very fruity, is sort of similar to the one. It's a bit more like molasses-y, barbecue-y, but it's very similar. I can't say that I'm super knowledgeable on wines, but I feel like a Cab and a Syrah would be pretty drying, but I could be completely wrong. I'm just gonna get raked over the coals by anyone.
Please rake us over the coals in the comments.
Yeah, tell us, what would those types of wine do to this?
Cab Sav, Syrah, Washington Red Blend.
Yeah, really nice. You get a nice like blend of the fruit, and then like the vegetalness of like the base spirit.
That vegetalness almost comes through like bordering on like musty. Like you get the fruits that are like plum and prune and raisin, and then you sort of lean into like a little bit of like mustiness there, but it's not a whiskey that I would call like, doesn't taste like it just came out of a dresser drawer.
I think that's the French oak. I think that's what that, like, because wine barrels are often not toasted, almost never charred. Often just like natural wood. And I find that sort of like dustiness, like dusty dresser drawer sort of comes from the French oak sometimes.
Yeah, finishes with a little bit of like red wine tannins. Yeah. My favorite.
The beer cask finish. For those who don't know, it's James's, not this whiskey, but in general, the beer cask finish. James doesn't even have nice things to say about it, but perhaps this one will change your mind.
Perhaps. I've had many a bad beer cask finish, and so I tend to just put them in the category of something that I stay away from.
Again, I would argue that the beer cask finish and the wine cask finish are similar in that the cask really matters. If you get a beer that's got a bunch of faults in it, or that the cask hasn't been treated properly, you're gonna end up with a shitty finish. Whereas if it's been, freshly dumped, a beer that's quite clean without faults, or that has the flavors you're looking for, you're certainly gonna get a higher quality finished whiskey out of that. This is really interesting. It's like, it's like peachy or something.
Yeah, it's like hops.
But it's like fuzzy peaches, interestingly. It has like this sugary note on top that's like orange orange fruit. Or
It's
something.
like if you took the sourness off a fuzzy peach.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
you like suck the sour off,
Yeah,
and then you just
totally.
have like
like an
just the peach.
artificial peach flavor for some reason. Yeah, I get more of like the hops on the palate. Certainly there's like a bitterness there. Yeah, I like it. I'm a fan of beer cask finishes. It's certainly not like the beer cask is like never the whiskey that I'm going to be like, oh, I'm going to reach for that one. But I never really find them generally very offensive. I've had some really nice ones when the casks are clearly like treated with care and picked out like very purposefully. And it seems like they've done that here because they have quite a variety of beer casks. So I'm willing to bet like they maybe like went through their inventory and like saw which beer casks they had and then sort of picked them for the profile that they were giving out and then tried to like blend them that way. You get like some of the malt, like some of the bigger malt notes, like probably the darker malts. A little bit of like chocolatey, sort of like stewed dark fruitiness.
I wonder how much of that is the malt and how much of that is like the stout cask.
Yeah, I feel like you're getting like the dark malt from the beer coming through, like specifically the stout, probably the Doppelbock too. Doppelbock, I find always has like that crackery, sort of like super dark sort of crackeriness to it.
Yeah, I can see that.
I think it's very pleasant. I like it.
Yeah.
Certainly they've blended it very nicely.
Oh my god, no faults at all.
Yeah. Which would you say is your favorite of all of these?
Oh, honestly, it might just be their mainstay, like the regular one. Yeah, I really like the Garryana oak, but maybe a little too much oak for me. There's a certain thing about single malt where like, you know, you don't often see single malt in like new American oak. For me personally, it just doesn't sit as well as it would in like an ex-bourbon or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I really like the Garryana. The wine cask was quite nice. The Garryana, I feel like would make like a really nice old fashioned, but it's probably really expensive and you shouldn't use it for that.
We should definitely make one.
Thanks to Westland for hooking us up with these whiskeys, and you should definitely pick up Westland's whiskeys if you see them in stores.
Yeah, give them a try. Thanks so much, Westland. Thanks for watching.
Until next time, same whiskey time, same whiskey channel.
Keep fit and have fun.
Like and subscribe, yeah.